Hello everyone. Today this is the second video in the series of Mahapurush Yoga, which I recently started. Last time we discussed about the Hamsa Mahapurush Yoga, which is caused by Jupiter. Today we are going to be discussing Malavya Yoga, which occurs through another guru, who's a Daitya guru, Shukra or Venus. So Malavya Yoga happens, it's one of the Pancha Mahapurush Yogas. So this happens when Venus is placed in any of the Kendra houses, which means either the first house, fourth house, seventh house, or the 10th house, in its own sign, Mool Trikona sign, or the sign of exaltation. That means if Venus is placed in the sign of Taurus, Libra, and Pisces, in any of the Kendra houses, that's when a Malavya Yoga happens. Okay, it is an auspicious yoga, and in my opinion, both Hamsa as well as Malavya Mahapurush Yogas are true Raj Yogas created by both the gurus. Okay. Now, as per the Vedic text, and of course the very popular 300 Important Combinations, the book by Dr. B.V. Raman as well, there are lots of things and of course indications which are associated to the Malavya Mahapurush Yoga, which are very much Venusian in nature. Right, so this yoga depicts that the native is likely to have a a well-built body, a healthy body, and at the same time is a strong-minded individual. So a physique as well as a strong mind. The native is likely to be healthy, is likely to be happy, blessed with vehicles or conveyances, and is happy with wife and children. Okay, this yoga also indicates that the native is likely to be learned, because Shukra itself is of course indicated to learning. In terms of the education, it rules all the mundane education stuff, like say the kind of certifications that you do, or the short courses that you take, and all the modern knowledge or the advancement in terms of digital technology that we have. And the native is renowned, the native is popular amongst people. So this is what this yoga denotes, and also that the native is likely to have good sensory organs, all throughout working well. But I'd like to probably take a step ahead, because one word and one shloka means a lot of things in Jyotish. So Malavya, what does it really mean? It is indicated to prince or princesses, okay, and that too of an ancient province, an ancient state of Malwa. So Malwa is if you talk about history, it is the central part of India. Okay, so that's where it is related to. Malavya is also a lot to do with the features of an individual, the beauty. Malavya is also an affinity towards comfortable life, and at the same time the luxuries around and the material comforts, more or less, that we are inclined to. But this relation to Malwa is quite interesting, because when I did some research on Malwa kingdom, the ancient sort of kingdom, and then Malavya is also related to someone who has a love towards horses. Okay, that is also something which it means, and coincidentally the first king of Malwa was Ashwapati. His name was Ashwapati, and his wife's name was Malavi, and that's how the name of Malwa kingdom, and that's how the dynasty started, and together they had 11 children, 10 boys and 1 girl. Okay, so the involvement of female into sort of naming the kingdom, and then Ashwapati, and Ashwa means horses. Okay, so that is again one of the sort of historical relation that we could probably have, and it's a different concept, unless Shukra is not under any malefic influences. Such natives do have love towards horses and animals in general. Okay, I would not say that they own them. Not all of them would own, but then they might like to think about them. They might like to dream or probably show affection and care. So it's a natural affection which they have towards horses and also towards other animals. Okay, so now let's talk about Venus as a graha. What does it represent? Venus represents our interaction towards the outer world. Okay, because Venus is the natural seventh lord in the Kalpurusha chart. Venus is also the Karaka for the seventh house. So it is one of those grahas who is the Karaka and also the natural ruler for one house. Other than Chandra is also one of the grahas who's the natural Karaka and ruler of the fourth house. Venus is one of the graha who's the natural ruler and Karaka for the seventh house. Now so this makes it, because seventh house is all about the other world, right? People who are opposite to me, and that's how this interaction with other beings come in place, which Venus is responsible for. What else about Venus? It's about love, it's about affection. Venus is also related to conveyances, to vahanas, to sensual pleasures. Okay, because that's what also the seventh house is also all about. Okay, Venus is also related to the material comforts. It is related to arts. It is related to drama. It is related to music. Okay, that's what sort of Venus indicates, and it's also related to luxury and of course material comforts, which I've already sort of shared with you. But then one of the things that Venus gives, as far as in terms of a challenge in a Malavya Mahapurush yoga, is to strike a balance between spirituality and material comforts, and sort of being righteous or sort of inclined towards the pleasures of the world, and mostly sensual pleasures. So that's where the native faces difficulty in terms of striking a balance. But then if there's a strong will, Malavya yoga, people are highly spiritual as well. They can eventually become highly spiritual in nature towards the path of liberation or moksha. One big difference between Hamsa Mahapurush Yoga and Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. So Hamsa Mahapurush Yoga is formed by Jupiter. Malavya Mahapurush Yoga is formed by Venus. Hamsa is more idealistic in nature, more righteous in nature, and more of a broad-minded individual. But Malavya is more inclined towards comforts, towards material pleasure, towards the materialistic outlook in life. So that's the big difference between the two, but both are as powerful and strong Raj yogas if there are no afflictions to any of these grahas. Now let's talk about what this yoga can lead to if Venus is placed in different quadrants. So let's talk about the first house. If Venus is placed either in the sign of Taurus, Libra or Pisces in the first house, the native is likely to naturally be inclined towards arts and music, and they're likely to have a beautiful spouse, because Venus is aspecting the seventh house, and it's a Venus which is in good dignity at the same time. But then they might have some struggle in terms of relationship, considering their expectations from the relationship that they have. The native is also likely to have an interest in singing, in writing. So these are some of the good qualities which Venus does give his blessings to the native. Let's talk about if Venus is placed in the fourth house, where Venus also becomes one of the Karaka for the fourth house, and at the same time Venus is Digbali in the fourth house. It gains directional strength, which means that there are blessings of the Digpala Devata. Okay, so here one of the prominent things which I have observed in my experience is that such people are nature lovers. They are natural activists. right? They would work towards certain things. They'll try to change things around, whether it's related to working towards climate change, whether it's related to animal welfare, whether it is planting, gardening, sort of planting trees, spreading messages around, nature protection and wildlife. So such individuals are truly naturally change activists. They also have sort of interest towards drama. Okay, fourth house is also the house of public, so they have a high level of influence, because people like to sort of come to them to seek advice and sort of guidance, and they're very powerful in terms of their interaction with other beings or the public in general. And if the Venus is strongly placed, if it, let's say, is associated to moon in this house, then such individuals can become very strong influencers. They might have thousands or millions of followers as well on social media. Even the Rahu connection with Venus here is sort of excellent in terms of having a mass, sort of followership. Though it may have some inflection as well, but in terms of followership, it would be quite good. Let's talk about Venus in the 7th house, in any of own sign, Mul Trikona, or in the sign of exaltation. Such individuals are likely to have a lot of interest in fashion and being sort of in sync with the latest trends. Venus is aspecting the Lagna, so they'd want to do all the beautiful and materialistic things in the world, so starting from dressing up well or sort of having the best of accessories. Such natives are also sort of blessed with a beautiful, gorgeous spouse or handsome spouse. Okay, but then at the same time, the challenge, because their expectations would be such when it comes to a spouse, especially in terms of looks or sort of the outer beauty. So that's something which such individuals should be mindful of if they intend to have sort of a long-lasting kind of relationship. Okay, so they need to sort of balance their expectations in relationship, is what sort of I'm trying to say, and have a very sort of realistic approach towards it. I have also noticed that such individuals have either a keen interest in real estate, or they have multiple properties, right? So multiple properties in terms of, it could be apartment, it could be land, and some of them could be at very sort of swanky places or in high rise they'd like to live in. So that's something which is observed as well with this sort of strong Venus placement in the 7th house. Let's say Venus is placed in the 10th house, right? Okay, in either its own sign, Mul Trikona, or in the sign of exaltation. Such individuals are naturally very intelligent. Okay, and it is also one of the good sign of having a political mindset, or probably becoming a successful politician as well. This Venus can grant the native. Such individuals are also very much free-spirited. They could be either an extreme liberal or an extreme nationalist. So there are two extremes, which we could probably suggest. They are naturally, they are popular, they're influencers again, because Venus is aspecting the 4th house. Though Venus is losing on the directional strength, but its aspect there would sort of ensure that they do something big in life and sort of make a difference in the life of other people. So they're likely to have mass following as well. There are some sort of examples of successful people having Malavya yoga. They left their mark incredibly. So Albert Einstein is one example, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, Gerald Ford, one of the presidents of the US, and what incredible story he has in terms of his rise as well. So yeah, that itself is an interesting case. Maybe we'll discuss it sometime. But yes, some examples of having a Malavya yoga. The sequences, because as in when you move from 1st, 4th, 7th and 10th, so 10th house is definitely the strongest, because it's the strongest of all the quadrant houses. Now here are some conditions for ensuring that Malavya Yoga delivers the best of its results. Is that this Venus should not be afflicted, should not be under a malefic influence of let's say Mars, Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, or even the Sun. So should be free from it. If it's a mild affliction, then certainly results might not be results may be sort of would be minimized than what I've shared with you. Also, this Shukra, this Venus, should have a good Shadvarga. That means it is nicely placed in and not debilitated in the most important divisional charts, some of these divisional charts, especially the Navamsha and the Shashtiyamsha, the D9 and the D60. Okay, so this is something which we should look out for. It's gaining strength there. Otherwise, this is a wonderful Venus, because both Jupiter and Venus are natural benefics, and having them, and that's why I say that these two yogas are very powerful, and that's why I started with these two yogas, because their presence in any of the quadrant houses, even if they are not in their own sign, Mool, Trikona, or exaltation, is a blessing for the native, because it acts as a protecting force against a lot of other negativity that could be potentially be there in the chart or in life in general. So this is the video on Malavya Yoga. Next time I'll come up with and of course talk about another Mahapurush Yoga that we are sort of left with 3 more. So till then, take care, and if you wish to reach out for a consultation, here's my email. Feel free to write to me and I will respond in time. Okay, thank you, and have a good day. Okay, so this was about Malavya Mahapurush Yoga. In the next video, I'll talk about another Pancha Mahapurush Yoga. So wait for that. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you're updated on the next video as well. And please feel free to share it with your friends. If you wish to reach out for a consultation, my email is mentioned in the video itself. You can write to me and book your personalized reading and consultation in any of the areas in your life. I wish you a blessed day and the week ahead. Thank you, and have a good day.